Hi guys, I'm James McIntosh and today I'm joined with Football Operations Manager Mark Summerhill for a catch up on all things Borough related. Mark, you're currently out training with the boys. I bet you're glad you got out of the interview. Gets you out of the cold for a bit. But how is everyone ahead of our clash against Merthyr?
Yeah, everyone's in really good spirits. The lads have been drifting in since 6 o'clock. Training starts at 7, so the lads are out there now. There's a few in with the physio, just getting some sort of knocks and some tweaks dealt with. But yeah, no, everyone's in good spirit and very much looking forward to Saturday and Tuesday.
Well, we'll speak a bit about Merthyr later in the episode, but I just want to brush up upon our last couple games, starting with the one which took place last Saturday. In the end, it was a well-earned point and against a good side. But what were your thoughts on the game?
Yeah, I think the Tottenham game, was a good point. It was fairly even. I think Tottenham probably started quite well. They got in behind us, flashed the ball across the 6 yard box a couple of times. But we grew into the game. We went 1-0 up. Decent delivery. Decent header from Woody, and then probably we let them get back into it. It's there's no denying it. It's a soft goal that lets Tottenham back into it. But then Toby goes on to make 2 or 3 really good saves after that. And then you look at the last 10, 15 minutes, and we create some really good chances ourselves. So I think probably a point. It's a better point for us because obviously they're chasing us, and I think we're 4 points behind us at the start of the day. And the fact that they're still 4 points behind us makes it a good point for us, where they really need to beat us, if they want to get into playoff places. So I think it's a really good point. I've just said to a couple of the lads, I think it's that time of the season now where we're starting to tick games off, and we're still well and truly cemented in the playoff places. So I think it's a really good point.
Well, you kind of brushed upon it there. The only downside from that performance was letting in that goal. But it was a similar case to our game against Plymouth, where it's a bit of a rogue goal where they get it from 30 yards out or so. So do you think games like these are more determined by one moment of brilliance rather than consistency? A bit of unluck going against us in these cases?
Yeah, well that can happen in football, can't it? We've all played in games or managed games or watched games where we've seen teams dominate possession, and a freak goal can change the result. That's football. That's why we all love it. And games do hinge on moments, and that's a fact. And are we having a little bit of a spell at the moment? A win Saturday, or certainly a point Saturday and a win at Harrow Tuesday, and we're probably through it. We're in a really healthy position because we started really well. We're 4th in the league, and I think I've just written a few program notes for Saturday to say really, we've got to stop looking at ourselves as the team that is overdoing well and are sort of 4th. And we've got to look at ourselves as a 4th place, top 4 side, and we've got to embed that mentality sort of through the squad. And we will come through what may be a little spell now, and I've got no doubt that positive results Saturday and Tuesday, and we're back right on track.
And then also on the Tottenham game, we did see Dan Wooden come off early. Was there any injury behind this, or was it actually just pure tactics?
No, I think it was for anyone that's at the game. You probably saw both Woody's knees were sort of blood streaming out of them. He's just shown me his lumps and bumps and bruises. Actually, he was it was quite a competitive game, and I think Woody just he gives everything for the club, doesn't he, and gives everything for the team, and he's that sort of guy that is going to pick up probably more knocks, when he doesn't. But he's in there tonight, getting them looked at, and I've got no doubt Woody will be absolutely fine for Saturday.
Well, along the lines of injuries, we are seeing a couple of our big players go down. One of them being Alex Barca, and it was confirmed he has had an operation. Well, he's going to be having an operation in a couple of weeks' time, I think. But will we be seeing him again before the end of the season?
Yeah, we'll definitely be seeing Alex again. So Alex got himself an X-ray quite quickly. He then got an MRI, which followed, and then when the swelling was down, they were able to make a better diagnosis. And the good news is Alex actually won't need an operation now, and we should see Alex sort of return to training in the next 4 weeks probably. So we'll definitely see him before the end of the season. So that's really good news.
And you mentioned there the time length for how long he's going to be out for. And I have heard a couple of rumours that we are looking at bringing in some more players, some new signings through the door. And is this true? Is there any truth behind these rumours? And if we are bringing in some new players, are these more just for the injury process, or are they actually looking to try and improve the team in some way?
Well, yeah, I mean, we've been really unlucky, I feel, with injuries this year, especially in the positions we've had the injuries. Charlie Wasmer's injury, was a long-term one. He actually had his operation Monday. Depending how he rehabs in the next couple of weeks, there's a chance we could see Charlie again before the end of the season. That would be a big boost. So, with Charlie potentially coming back, Alex potentially coming back. Unfortunately, Harry Medway won't come back this season. But we are looking to bring in reinforcements. There's no two ways about that. It would be unfair for me to name those reinforcements because out of respect for players this time of year, players are all with clubs if this is not pre-season. So it wouldn't be right to talk about some of the names we're looking at and talking to, but we are working really, really hard to try and bring in reinforcements and to sustain now what is a push for promotion.
And unfortunately, injuries are something you can't really have an impact with in football. Whereas one thing you do have a massive impact on is tactics. And I want to return back to the Tottenham game here, because we have seen a change of formation where Wooden, he seems to be occupying more of a lone striker role, with either Ramos or Scrimshaw acting as a ringer role. So do you feel as though this has been quite a successful change? As Wooden has now scored 2 in the last 3, and also Ramos and Scrimshaw, both their goal rates continue to rise. So have you seen quite a positive change since influencing this tactic?
I think one thing Pat and Joe are exceptionally good at is setting teams up for certain games. We do a lot of research on the opposition. We watch a lot of videos on the opposition, and they will set a different plan every week. You can't have one thing we found out pre-season was not pre-season, sorry, at the start of the season. If you continue to play a certain way, teams will work you out and find you out. So what Pat and Joe are really good at is slight adjustments to formations. We've used a back four a few times, quite a few times now where we've been really solid. We've used a 3 a lot. We went back to a 3 on Saturday, and sometimes it is a lone striker with a couple of 10s. Sometimes it's 2 9s, want a better word, or 2 10s, or 3 up front at times where we've gone with a 9 and 2 wide men, and it's just a question of having all those different formations up your sleeve and the ability sometimes to switch between those during games. And definitely there's different formations that all work for different weeks. For example, on Saturday away at Tottenham, people probably noticed, we played and persisted with with quite a decent mid block because we didn't feel that Tottenham were ever really going to break us down in that mid block. Other weeks you'll see us go out and press very aggressively. So it's just having about all the different tools in the box really, and they just need to be applied as and when the situation suits.
Well, I'll be speaking a bit about the tools a bit later on, but like you mentioned before, I think you mentioned it a bit later in the episode. We're still looking for our first win, but we're still looking very good in the games we have played this year. But really, it doesn't get much harder than welcoming a team like Merthyr to the AEI Stadium. But could this be quite a monumental game, which could ultimately define whether we do actually get playoffs or not? Or do you think, regardless, we do still stand quite a good chance of getting playoffs?
Yeah, well, Merthyr are just ahead of us. But they're one place above us, and I think it's a point, and we've got 2 games in hand. So to win Saturday is a big win. I don't think you can dress that up any other way. Does the season fall over if we get beat? Certainly not. If we take a point, is it the end of the world? Probably not. We've got 2 games in hand. But we're coming. I sort of touched on it earlier. We're not stupid. We are aware we need to get a win sooner rather than later, whether it's Saturday or whether it's Tuesday. There's no panic in the group. I've sort of got to speak to people after the game, and I think people, maybe some supporters, getting a little bit edgy, although still very much behind us, which is absolutely fantastic to see. But like I said, we are right in the mix of the playoffs. We've cemented ourselves in the mix of the playoffs now, and it's really just not a time to panic and just do what we do and keep setting ourselves up for different games. And when we need to take a point, we'll take a point. And when we need to win, we'll obviously be trying to win games. That's very much the ethos here. But there are times, and probably Bracknell away would be a really good example of when actually we should have probably screwed the nut down a little bit and actually looked to take a point from being 2-0 down to 3-2 up to then get to 3-all to lose 4-3, that would have been a really good time to take a point, for example. But we certainly go in to win every game. But, you'd be absolutely stupid to think we are going to win every game of football this season, and you'd be stupid to think we're going to win every game of football between now and the end of the season. But I think we've got more than enough quality here in the staff, certainly, and the players to get enough points to cement ourselves in the playoffs.
And we're still speaking about Merthyr. Last time we did play them, we did win 4-0, and in the end, it was quite a thumping performance. And we, in the nicest way possible to Merthyr, I think we completely destroyed them. So how can Gosport reproduce a similar result to what we did last time against them?
Well, I think if we're being really honest, I think the Merthyr game hinged on the red card last time. It was the first time, or the only time this season, I'd genuinely been scared by an opposition. Merthyr started really well. They had pace down the left-hand side. They had pace up front. They were strong. And for the first 10 minutes of the Merthyr game, we were totally back to the wall. I think anyone that came to saw that, probably we were hanging on a little bit, to be honest. Like I said, it then hinged on the red card and we got right into the game. And we quite rightly ran out 4-1 winners in the end. But if I remember back to the Merthyr game, right at the end of the game, Merthyr was still countering us and was still getting in behind us not at will, but probably more times than we would like. And I think the Merthyr game was actually, I'm not going to say 4-1 flattered us because I think we were well worth it. But yeah, the Merthyr game was a tough game. And I think this game here on Saturday will be no different. Absolutely no different. I think I just sort of written some program notes for Saturday, and I think this will be a real test of our promotion credentials and a real test of the group. But yeah, like I said, nothing's won or lost at this, on Saturday.
Well, you kind of just brushed upon it there, speaking a bit about how they play and their counter-attacks and how they do like to go for it. And I was looking at Merthyr's stats a bit earlier on, and they have actually got 12 goals in the last 4, but seem to be a bit leaky at the defence by the looks of things. So they conceded 7 in the last 4. And we do like to play quite attacking football, and to Gosport, we're a bit similar to Merthyr in that aspect. We do like to go for it. We do like to get goals. So do you feel stats like these almost favour us in games like this?
I think you can look at all sorts of stats. If you look at Merthyr's results, they won on Saturday, so they're coming here on the back of a win. Yet the 2 games before that, they picked up defeats. I think they then had a win before that and a draw before that. So they've been a little bit stop-start as well. Yes, they got a win Saturday. So they're probably coming here hoping to kickstart a run. Again, it's probably one of those games, a bit like Saturday, where actually it's a bigger game for them. With us having 2 games in hand, they probably want some distance between us. And like Tottenham on Saturday, I felt it was a bigger game for them. And I don't want that to come across wrong, because every game's a big game for us and we do want to win games. And Pat and Joe will never move away from their ethos of playing good, attractive football, but hopefully that brings lots of chances as well. So I think it will certainly be an entertaining game Saturday. I think it will be a tight game, and I'm certainly hoping that obviously we come out on the right side of 3 points.
And providing we do get a result against Merthyr, could this actually act as momentum as we play the likes of Salisbury, Poole and Dorchester all next month? So we've still got massive teams coming up.
Yeah, absolutely. I think any time in football, it's always a good time to get a win. And Saturday would be one of those, times. You can't help but look at the last few weeks, and maybe we've sort of stuttered a little bit, but still in there's been some really, really good performances and some really good spells of performance. So we are not worried at all. We are really, really calm. There's absolutely zero panic, like I said earlier, and we will just keep doing what we keep doing. Pat and Joe will keep doing what they keep doing, which is coach exceptionally well and manage exceptionally well. And we'll go into Saturday with the best possible chance.
Well, I've obviously spoken to the likes of you, Pat, Joe, all the management team and all the hierarchy here at Gosport, and they always have mentioned how the fans have played a big role, especially at the AEI Stadium. And there has been times where the fans have helped boost Gosport on the pitch. And how big of a role could the fans play in this clash?
Well, the fans play a massive role. There's no 2 ways about that. I mean, there was 1,300 at a game on Saturday, which, estimates were about 300 sort of Gosport Borough fans, which is an excellent travelling support. We're regularly up towards high 800s here when we're at home. And Pat and Joe say it all the time. when you're attacking that end where all of our fans congregate, it's almost like the fans suck the ball in. And I'm sure I forget the stat now. Stats are not what I'm here for, but there are certainly a lot of stats that when we attack that end in the second half, that's when we score our goals. And the atmosphere here our fans create is absolutely phenomenal. We regularly go to places, Bracknell, for example, we're actually probably not the best example. Bracknell was quite a good atmosphere, but with only sort of 300 fans or 250 fans, we are incredibly well supported, and it makes a massive, massive difference. Every week write in my programme notes a little note to the fans to say, thank you for what you do, because I don't think people will ever truly appreciate the atmosphere that our fans create. It is absolutely fantastic. And I would say probably, Tottenham talk about 1,300. I would say we are probably as well supported as there is in this league. And it is very, very much appreciated.
Well, it was like the Tottenham game last week. We did see a lot of fans come to the game, and it was great to see the attendance. And hopefully we'll see a similar attendance to the Merthyr game. And if you are watching this video, you can get your tickets to the Merthyr game by clicking the link in description. So make sure you do that and come and cheer the boys on. But Mark, I think you know how to end the interview. Can you say the final words, up the borough?
Up the borough. Thanks, James.
And final words from me, up the borough.